Good afternoon, welcome to NMS. This afternoon we're going to talk about protein versus carbohydrates and what is the right ratio for muscle building. So lately in the fitness industry we've been talking about replacing a whole lot of protein with carbohydrates. Now I like the idea that we have carbohydrates, you need them for energy, and I'm glad that we start looking at carbohydrates as not being such a bad thing but actually something that your body needs. But we still can't dismiss protein and its role in building muscle as well. So how do we address this? Let's address it in terms of essential amino acids, gluconeogenesis and sufficient carbohydrates, then finding the balance of protein, carbohydrates and fats when bulking. Okay, so essential amino acids. These cannot be synthesized in the human body. These include your leucine, your isoleucine, your valine, which is your branched chain amino acids. Leucine is obviously heavily involved in promoting anabolism, as well as being heavily involved in building muscle as well. But so are a lot of your other essential amino acids. Then you've got your lysine, your threonine, your tryptophan, methionine, histidine, arginine, and phenylalanine. The body cannot produce any of these. In order to get these amino acids, you need to consume proteins rich in these essential amino acids. Animal sources are your best sources, but you can also get it from vegetable sources. You just have to be very good at mixing your vegetables up and getting digestible vegetable sources that are high in protein. Mixing your beans up, but probably actually supplementing proteins as well. Gluconeogenesis and sufficient carbohydrates. Gluconeogenesis in the metabolic process of synthesizing glucose from amino acids, lactic acid and glycerol. This process occurs during periods of reduced calories, carbohydrate consumption, and low glycogen levels. Okay, so in order to prevent amino acid breakdown, it's important to eat enough carbohydrates during a bulk. Now, balancing protein and carbohydrate intake. It's important in a bulk to ensure that you're not consuming that much protein that your body starts using amino acids to produce glycogen. It's also important that you consume enough protein to promote anabolism and enough of the essential amino acids to allow muscle protein synthesis amongst other protein synthesis. Okay, so obviously enzymes and so forth. You also need to balance carbohydrate consumption to allow sufficient glucose for training and to prevent amino acids being broken down. Obviously carbohydrates are protein sparing. So what do I normally go and get my clients to do, and what I believe is the best sort of balance of these? Well, first of all, make sure you've gone and worked out sufficient amount of calories first in your diet, sufficient high quality protein to promote and ensure muscle protein synthesis. I suggest around 2 to 2.5 grams per kilogram body weight, depending also on body fat percentage and also depending on where you are in terms of how hard you train, how often you train. Sufficient fat intake for hormones and cells, around 20 to 25% of calories. Sufficient carbohydrates to fuel your workouts and other metabolic processes. This will be the rest of your calories. Okay, so generally guys, what we do is we make sure we have enough protein, we make sure we have enough fats, and when we're bulking, the rest of that's going to be carbohydrates, okay, which should give us enough carbohydrates to fuel our workouts. Generally, if I'm going to go and get someone to increase their calories, I'll put more carbohydrates and fats in the diet, because most of the time I've already put enough protein in there. So you just got to keep in mind, guys, yes, it's important to get more glucose in, it's important to get more carbohydrates in, but you can't do it at the expense of making sure you get enough protein. Proteins can become carbohydrates when you break down your essential amino acids, but you can't go back the other way, guys. So you can't make your essential amino acids out of your glucose. Your body needs to take them in. Okay, so just make sure that you get the balance and you should be good. Any questions, guys, by all means, write down your questions, put it in below, like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. I'm giving a lot more good information, and I want to address a lot of these new things that come into the fitness industry to make people understand how they work and how, sometimes things have got to be more of a balance and not just going to extremes. Thanks for listening, and I hope you got a lot out of this video.